Hello everyone, good morning to all of you. Hello everyone of you, good morning to all. Hope you all can hear me. All right, so we'll begin another 2 minutes. Okay, so let us begin. So today we are here to discuss on interface between file systems and IOCS. Okay. So what does meant by file system or file systems means what? What do you understand by file systems? Hmm? Have you gone through it? Have you searched it anytime online? What is file systems? Okay, the very first topic is what? File systems and IOCS. Now they are telling interface between file systems and IOCS. If you see this first topic here, what they have mentioned here, this one, if you look at this, the very first topic of this module, module 4, which is on file systems. Okay, they're talking about file systems and IOCS, the very first topic. And now they are asking about the topic interface between file systems and IOCS. See this one, the first topic, file systems and IOCS, right? When you look at this topic, what we are seeing now, so this also is talking about file systems and IOCS. So what does this mean? Like for example, if you try to see microcontroller, Okay, so microcontroller we have discussed and microcontroller memory we discussed. For example, now how do we interface this controller with memory? So like that, how do we interface this file system and IOCS, which means file system is separate entity. Okay, which means the attributes of file system can be different, IOCS can be different. Now you need to coordinate between the file system and IOCS. Why we need to coordinate this? Why we need to interface this? It's very simple. Let us say I am going to teach now in using Windows operating system, and you're going to use that in Android operating system or iOS, or some of them may be using Windows only, and different versions of operating systems, different screen size, different hardware capabilities. Let us say I am using here PowerPoint presentation of some version. In your system you have a different version, or how is that? How the compatibility of these two devices has to happen, right? And also which one should be given permission to view it. Let us say this meeting is going on now, only this many number of students are available, only these many number of students can view it, other students may not view it, right? So other students may not able to view this, correct? So based on that, we can able to say that the file systems and IOCS, what we are trying to do, it has to be interfaced. Let us say now I'll just show you. I'll give the manage permissions. I'll give here. I'll change it now. Who are there only can view it. Who all will come late? Let us say from now on, it will not come to this meeting. Let us say I'll change the settings here. Okay, in that case, who are available in this meeting can continue, and those who are not available in this meeting may have to get the access, correct? So it's clear that now let us say I want to do the settings now. I change that. Who can, yeah, allow here. So this one I can say who can bypass. Only me, I have made it and I have made changes here, right? Now let us say now. So that's what we have blocked it now for 50. Anyone is coming above that will come to know, whoever is coming, right? See now whoever is coming late will come to know clearly. Okay, which means I have allowed now the restriction that who has to come, who has not to come. Like if I don't want someone who can allow now, I can deny it, right? So with that context here, we have a file system now. This is a file what we have. Whom I want to make it to view. That's file system. IOCS, now I made control now. Input or output, even if you want to leave the meeting, if I can give the permission, that can be, I cannot have that privacy to block you, right? How long you want to be in the meeting, you can continue, and otherwise we cannot able to make you to be there here. All right, that was not there. Okay, see now the people are keep coming. Yeah. Okay, all right. So now this is the basic concept. Hope you all have seen this basic idea and basic concept. So file processing, how it is being done is being told ABC. What is A told about? Program containing file declaration. So what is that file? How it is? Whether it is open type or what read type or write type or execute type. How many records are there? All that will be there in the file declaration. And what about B here? This B, we have here compiled program showing calls on file system modules. So we have what all calls are available, which one we want to read, which one we want to write. All the information was available in B. What about C? C is showing the process of that. So this is the basic thing what we have seen on file system and IOCS. Now we are going to see something interesting, which is interface between file system and IOCS. How do we interface between them? Okay, so definitely that will be one of the interesting part. Why it is interesting? Why that has been interesting? File systems and IOCS. Anywhere where you see you have to share your documents or you have to share your corresponding files. Now, how to allow them, how to block them, that will be definitely interesting part. Okay, so let us look at that. So this one, interface between file system and IOCS, correct? So let us go to the slideshow and begin this discussions. Any queries and any questions on it? File system and IOCS. Okay. All right. So interface between file system and IOCS. We have seen three types of interfaces. What are the three interfaces? What we have seen? What are those three interface? The three kinds of interface what we have. All these are what? All these are three data structures. So these three of them are three data structures. That's why whenever you are trying to go to any interview or whenever you are trying to attend an interview, they're going to ask three things to you. One is, do you know pointers? First thing, do you know linked lists? So do you know linked lists, they'll ask you, and do you know pointers, they'll ask you, and do you know the data structures, they'll ask you, because anywhere these three are going to play important role. So LL is for linked list, okay, and this is pointers, and this is your data structures. So we are trying to see now these three data structures. What are three data structures? File map table, open file table, and file control block. Okay. All right. So this is what we are going to see. So interface between file systems and IOCS, what we have. So FMT is what, from here we can see this is OFT. OFT means what? Open file table. So I told you one fundamental thing here, F indicates file. Wherever F is there, it is file. Correct? F, you see this one F here, here, and here. F is indicating file. So this is done. So this is done and this is done. And wherever T we have, it's indicating table. So this is done and this is done. And wherever B we have, that's your block. Okay, now what is left out here? M for map, O for open, and C for control, right? So this way we can able to easily remember what is this FMT, OFT, and FCB. Let us try to make it much more precise and easy to remember. Okay, how do we do it? So file map table, so which means we need to map clearly and say that, okay, so file 1, file 2, file 1 at what location, file 2 at what location. This can be a simple example of file map table. And open files table. Open files table means what? See, first is index sheet you have, right? When you have a book or notebook with you, or when you have a record with you, what do you have? You'll have the index sheet with you first. Correct? See, very simple. I'll tell you one example. Let us say you have one record with you. Okay. So this record will have first sheet called index sheet. What this index sheet will tell you? Experiment 1, experiment 2, experiment 3, 4. You have the index with you. And you'll have the page number. Experiment 1, page 1, experiment 2, page 4, page 8, let us say page 12. So this is what index file. So that is simple to make you understand. This is your file map table for reference. For reference, we are trying to understand like that. Now, if you want to open this fourth experiment, page number 12, you'll go to page number 12. That is your open file table. So this corresponding experiment, I'll turn 10 pages or 11 pages. You'll get your 12th page. That is experiment 4. That's like open file table. After opening the experiment, that corresponding sheets, you want to read it or you want to correct it or you want to erase it off and do it again in the document. Let us say if you are doing all these things in a document file if you are trying to do, we can able to edit or do anything of that kind. Okay, so if you are doing like that, we can able to do it. Now you see this file control block, what will happen? The file control block will able to, once we have opened that corresponding thing, okay, once you open the corresponding thing, you can able to read it or you can able to write it, sorry, write on it, or you can able to do something, execute on it, either reading or either writing or executing it. So that can be controlled. We can control that. Or you want to open it or you want to close it, or if you want to block it. So anything you want to control, you can do with file control system, that is FCB, right? So this is what the brief background about this. Let us go to the next part. So look at the next one. So IOCS, when you want to do it, so what all the fields what we have in your file control block, FCB, what all fields are there, let us see. So whenever any file, if you want to open, that file should have the file name. So we should have the field as file name. Let us say the file name can be 123, or it can be a module 1, module 2, module 3, like that. Okay, file name will have. And file type. File type means what? This file type can be, let us say, .docx, right? Like .ppt, whatever the file can be. It can be .executable file, .exe file. So like that we can have the file type. And organization and access method. Let us say this corresponding docx file or exe file. This exe file can be from different operating systems, or let us say different people have created it. For example, if you are doing MS Word, Microsoft Office, so we'll have some executable file for this, and you have something, let us say what all applications you'll install. You have installed some applications. Any one of you, can you explain, or can you give an example for applications what you install? Let us say web WhatsApp you are using. You're using WhatsApp web. That also will be executable file. Or any softwares you are trying to use, any games you are trying to play. That also is an executable file, which means which can be from different organizations. We are not able to say that it can be only from that corresponding organization. You can identify easily. Okay. Next, so device type and address. So we also maintain device type and address. So what was this device type and address means what? What can we understand from this device type? So whenever you are trying to download any file from Google or Play Store, or you can say from App Store, if you want to download anything, okay, it will show you that it will work on so and so operating system, this version and higher version. Okay, that it will go and tell what device is going to work, what types of address is going to work, and it will tell about next is size of a record, how much MB it is having. If you want to download any file from the App Store, if this is the file, if you want to click on a download of this file, so what is the size of the record? Let us say 12 MB, right, or else 2 KB. And also even you save this file, let us say this is a complete PPT. If you want to save, it will show you in form of .docx, for example. At last it will show you around 20 KB, right? So these things has to be maintained by the operating system with the file. And size of block. Size of block means what to understand, size of block and number of buffers. So these things are used in computing. Size of block, number of buffering, and name of access method, all these three let us see in detail. So this we are not aware of what is correct. As of now we are not aware. Let us look at that and learn what they are and how they'll be useful. Size of a block, number of buffers, and name of access methods. So name of access method can be, we can predict it, but still we are not clear about it as of now. From this let us learn. Next, so what is there in the directory? What is there in the directory? So information about file directory entry. So what is entering? Let us say if someone is opening a file, okay, it has to maintain who has opened at what time, right? How much time they have edited. All that in the backend, it will be, the data will be stored. Okay. Address of parent directory, from where you have copied, from where. Let us say you have one folder here and you have other folder here. From this you have copied and here you have pasted. Okay, now it's like copy of this is being made here, so you should maintain that where exactly it has came from and what you are trying to do. And address of file map table, we call it as FMT, right? FMT, FCB. So those two we'll see now, file FMT and FCB, file map table and file control block. And protection information, which means this file can be viewed by only to the collaborators whom you are going to share. Other people are not going to view it or not able to see that. Okay, next. So current state of processing. What is the current state of processing? What was the current state of processing? address of the next record to be processed, address of buffers. So these also we have to go through. What is this, right? So with this information, we got some idea now what exactly these fields are inside the file system and IOCS. So let us go further and see what was happening here. Let us see this example. Interface between, so this what is the main concept, what heading, what we wrote. Till now what we did is just to understand or make us know what was happening, right? So this was the example what we have, and one more example we have. Let us look at that. So where we have seen, yes. So this diagram you are clear with, correct? Any doubt in this diagram? So this is what we discussed in the previous class about OFT, FCB and FMT. Right, let us see briefly about this and we'll go to the next diagram. Okay, in this diagram what it says is going to show the arrangement or setup when a file, this file is there here, right, alpha. So this alpha file, if you want to make that to open, what all things it has to do, it's going to show. Okay, and the file system here, it will copy FMT alpha. Where is FMT alpha here? This one, this FMT alpha, okay, is getting copied into the memory, and it is going to create this FCB alpha block. FMT alpha file, whenever you are trying to create, parallelly in the backend, it is going to create FCB alpha block. Let us say you have created your USN folder, for example. Your USN number folder you have created. In the back end, what it's going to do is, in the back end, this is your front end, correct? Inside the operating system, in the back end, what it's going to do, it's going to create this USN file name for FCB, file control block, which means who can able to view this, who can able to control this, all that details are being stored in the back end. Okay, let us say you are giving a key. Let us assume like this is a room key. 4 people are staying in the same room in a shared basis. Now you can say that other 3 members you can able to give the key. Okay, or else you will call a friend and tell like my friend's friend is coming, so on so name, you can hand over the key to them. Then that can be updated in your WhatsApp group of your corresponding room and you share the key to the other person, correct? Or your home key, if you are going outside and you want to share the home key with your cousin who is going to come, you are there at outside, your friend or cousin came, so like you have to update the information about them, that you will be available, you will not be available, all that, so that he will not be coming at that time. Even when you try to understand if someone is coming to your home to deliver from Amazon or Flipkart, they will be calling you, sir, are you at home, right? Or ma'am, are you at home? They'll be calling you correspondingly to find out the information. Then you'll update them with, yes, we are at home, you can come and deliver the item what you have booked online. Okay, so it's like this. In the backup, what they are trying to do in the back end, what they are trying to do is they are trying to give the, for whom we should give the permission, for whom we need to block, all the information is being kept in this file control block alpha. Okay, so alpha, why we are naming here is the file name is alpha. Let us say this use and we use, right? So this is like alpha. This is your file name alpha. Because we don't know what is the file name to use, they have used something like alpha. Okay, now, so this is going to be in FCB. FCB is what? File control block. This information will be stored in file control block. It will be stored in, and also in terms of OFT, open files table, it will have the information. This information what we have created, this should be in file control block also, and also in OFT also. In these 2 places we need to have this kind of information. All right. Okay. So which is an FCB for also in OFT. Okay. Now in this case, so this one is 6. You observe this one 6 here. This was 6, which means, so this from here to here it is going to store. So this much of data, okay, the internal memory is being stored by the alpha ID, that is pin 6. What is that? So that is the internal ID of the alpha. which means whatever the file what you have created, for that it is going to create an internal ID. How the internal ID is created is very simple. I'll just show you how it is created. I'll take an example and show you how that is created. If, for example, there are three things here to be done. Let us say one is open, other one is, let us say, close. Okay, the other one is, let us say, reading or writing. So these three, any one, it can be done, right? So open, how, what all things you should know whenever you want to open a file, what all things you need to know? You need to know what is the file name. You need to know what is the file name. Okay, file name, you know. Then what else you know? Whenever you want to know the parameters, I have kept in this like HTML format. I kept it in terms of this braces. So whatever you write in this, it's like is understood that entity we are trying to do it. Okay. Now let us look at this. Next. So processing mode. What is this next one? Processing mode. So we should know what is the mode of processing also. Whenever you want to open a file, along with these two, what all we need to know? File name and processing mode. Along with these two, we have to know one more entity. We need to know the attributes of the file. If you know these many things, we can able to open the file. Okay, what is this file name? File name is like an absolute or relative path of the file to be opened. It can be absolute path or it can be a relative path. Any of them, that you need to know where exactly it is. So let us say file name will tell. I'll tell file name, but actually file name means what? Where it is stored. It can be stored in which memory part it has stored. It can be absolute path or it can be a relative path. Next, what is processing mode? This is going to indicate, processing mode is going to indicate what kind of operations will be performed on it. Let us say we are going to input the data, or we are going to create the data, or we are appending the data into it, okay, or we're going to update the data into it. All these comes under processing mode. Let us say what all things it will come here. It will come under this one. Input will get create, will get append, or we'll get one more create. So create, append, input or update. All these things will be there in the processing mode. What about attributes? Okay, so attributes means what all things it is having, what is the organization it is going to use, right? And what is the size of the data? Okay, along with this, what is the information about protection? All these things will be there inside that. These things, if you know only, you can able to open the file. Now, what all things you should know when you want to close a file? What all things you should have when you want to close a file? If you want to close this file correspondingly, you need to know the internal ID of it. What all things you need to know? You need to know the internal ID of file. You should know. If you know the internal ID of this file, then only you can able to close it. What is the internal ID of it? Any example? Internal ID of a file. So it can be like reading file or it can be writing file, right? It can be like protection view, whatever. Okay. So if you know these fields, then only you can able to close this corresponding file. Or if not, we cannot able to close this corresponding file. What about this one, read write information? What all things we need to know in that? For read write, we need to know this internal ID. We should know. For this read write also, we need to know the internal ID. We should know. Along with this, we need to know the record info. We should know the record info. Along with this, we should know the input/output area address. So these things we should know. First thing, internal ID. Second thing, record info. Third thing, input/output area address. So these things we should know. What is record info? Whether it is read type or it is a write type, we should know that. Okay. What is IO area address? It is going to tell where the area should, from where it has to read and from where it has to write. Like what is the input block for it? and what is the output block for it. All these three informations will be there. Okay, so these are the things what actually were required for this to read or to write the data. So next, so this diagram, what is happening in this diagram? Hmm? What is this diagram? Go through this diagram. What do you understand from this? So what is this is, let us say you are trying to, you see this is the file name called alpha. Okay, this alpha you are going to use it. Similarly, along with you there is some person called you is also using it. You means yourself. Okay, and this you means this is a collaborator. So both of you want to access the file at same point of time. Let us say this is your Google Drive. Inside this Google Drive we have one corresponding file. Okay, now this file you are viewing this file, you are doing changes for that. Parallelly you have shared this link to some person called you. They also want to view it and do some changes, right? Now how do you do the interface between these two is the concept. Is it clear? How do we process the file? Let us say the file name is alpha. Okay, and how do we execute that by some user called you? How you are going to do it? Okay, so to do this what we need is, we need a compiler which will replace the statements of open, read and close in the source program. So we need what all things we have seen, right? We have seen open type and we have seen close type, and we have seen third one read slash write type. So these are the three entities what we have. Okay, all these three entities has to be updated parallelly, such that if anyone is going to change, you can able to see that. Let us say at the time, at time t equals to 10 seconds. Okay, 10 seconds, like you are going to update some 4 lines of code, or you're going to add 4 lines. You're added this 4 lines. After adding this 4 lines of information, the file attributes has to change. Let us say the file name has to change or not. You may change it or may not change. This is unconditional, we cannot say. And what about the file type, the file size? The file size is going to get updated, correct? So whenever necessary, so we need to make sure that these changes has to be done in the file, so that if somebody is going to change it, even you can able to view that. Okay, so this how you can able to do it. So let us see in detail how exactly it is happening in the form of a block diagram. So this compiler is going to replace all the statements of the open along with read or write and the close in the source program. Okay, so this is called as file system operations. So what are all the three entities? Open, read and close respectively, all these three. So these are the significant steps: opening, reading and closing. So how it is shown here, first one you see, there is something called file declaration. What is there in the file declaration part? First one, open that corresponding file. What is the file name? Alpha, and we can able to read that. Next is we are going to read it. We're going to update the information in the record. Update the information in the record. Next is close. So these are the three things what we want, right? Open it, read it and close it. So these are the file declarations. Three things we want. What all three things? Opening, reading and closing. So what all it will do, this is called as source program. Initially when the program is created or when the file is created, it will have these things. But whom all you want to open, which file you want to open, which file you want to read and which you want to close. So anyone who have collaborated something, right, that collaboration is done only for alpha file. So only for this file, alpha file, and they can read that and they can close that. They can open it, they can read, they can close. That's all they can do as of now. Now this what the compiler is going to compile. So this alpha file you have shared to some person. Let us say X is the person or you is the person, you have shared this alpha file access. Now this is the file declaration what it has initially. Now the compiler what we have, okay, the compiler will replace the statement. See now the statement of open, read and close are being replaced. How they are replaced? You see this one here, open, actually it is open alpha comma read, that's all. But now it's also added file attributes. What all things are there in file attributes? File attributes will have the record of size and the production information. Record of size and production information also it has added, compiler added. And now see this read here, read alpha comma record info. Now you see this one here, internal ID alpha record info, and they are given some collaborators what we have, what we want to read. Close also you see, instead of alpha it is being stored as internal ID of alpha. Like this the entities of the files are getting replaced by the compiler. And then what will happen, let us see now. Now first if you want to open the file, this first one, if you want to open the file you are going to give the access for file system. File system will request here for the IOCS. So this is the first one, the second one. Okay. After giving that request to IOCS, IOCS will take the information from the directory U. So this means this is the collaborator. Okay. Now that has got the information. 3. What about 4? We can able to read it. We're going to send to IOCS, right? And you want to close it, and it will give to IOCS. Finally it will update into the collaborator U. So these are the steps what we want to do. Okay, you understood that? It's very simple. You have shared one file to one person. You have shared one file to one person. Let us say the person is a collaborator. Okay. Now after sharing the file to the collaborator, what you have did, you have made some changes in the file. Those changes also has to be updated to the collaborator. Okay, so what they are doing, so we have something, we opened it. Okay, you have opened it and you have shared it, right? Whatever you have shared, it will find out from there and check it out. Now from that file whatever you have shared, you can read it. Okay, you can close it. All these things can be done. After doing all these changes, the final file of yours will be updated to the collaborator. Okay, so this is how it is going to function, right? So this much is your internal ID for that alpha file, and this is your control block for the alpha file that was stored in open file table, which means whichever file is getting opened or whichever file is getting closed, we are bothering about only opening, right? That information was available in this corresponding open file table. Now let us see what was there here. When alpha is opened, whenever you are trying to open the file called alpha, okay, whenever you open the file alpha, what all things it is happening, there are how many steps here? 8 steps. If you write all these 8 steps one by one, what is happening, that is good enough for you to understand. There are 8 steps here. Okay, 8 steps. If you write what was happening here, that was good enough. So let us say first step. What is first step? Like this you have 8 steps. Where is first step here? First step, second, and this third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. Let us see in detail one by one what all those 8 steps, and we can understand this interface between file system and IOCS. First point. First point is what? The process executes the call which is called as open alpha read file attributes. This one it is going to take. Okay, the process executes the call open. This is called as call open. Where you got this name call open? If you see this one, you'll understand. You can see this one call open. Where is that? Sorry, where is that? Not here. Yeah, you can see that in this diagram. Okay, fine, that's okay. So that's your call open. Okay, and then the call returns with internal ID alpha. So what is that is going to return with the internal ID alpha. So this one internal ID what we have, that's going to return there. And if the processing mode is read, it is consisted with protection information of the file. The file saves internal ID alpha for use while performing operation of the file called alpha. Whenever you are trying to return this corresponding file, the internal ID of this named as internal underscore ID alpha, okay, is kept in the processing mode for read operation, and it is constituted with the protection information of the file, and this process will save as internal ID alpha. So this is what is happening in your first step, step 1. Now what will happen in step 2? Step 2, the file system, this file system right here, this file system, okay, is going to create FCB. So from here we create file FCB. What is FCB means what? FCB is your file control block. It is going to create the file control block in the open files table, and it resolves the path name as alpha. So this is going to resolve the path named as alpha, and then what it does further, and it will find out the directory where exactly it was there. It will find out the directory where it was there, and from that FCB block what is going to do is, so we are going to get this FCB alpha. This is going to get created, and the file system will make a new call called as open. We can see something now, open. So based on that information we are going to get the access for the alpha file to open it. We got the access now. Now third step, this one. What was happening here, third step? So this IOCS block here, this one, IOCS block, what we have here, this IOCS block will access the directory entry of alpha. So this is the directory, and this entry what we have here is called as alpha, is going to access it, and the copy of the file size and the address of FMT, okay, from the directory entry into the FCB alpha. Now from here what it does, it will make a copy of that into the FCB alpha. So what is the file size of it? Okay, what is the details of this? It will make a copy of that in the FCB of alpha, right? So that will update the details of FMT. FMT means what? File map table. So based on this information from here, it will update the information on that with the help of file map table. Okay, so that is going to do that in the third step. And what is fourth step? Now fourth step is reading, right? Whenever this is a, let us say this is a process. This process want to start reading the information of alpha into the area, let us say XYZ. So this area XYZ, if you want to read that information, then read operation of the file system with internal ID. You can see this internal ID. So this is going to be created, and with the help of internal ID, comma, record info, comma, you have given for the size where you have to store XYZ, that is going to create it. And what about fifth block here? What is happening in this block? The information whatever you have got from the location called alpha, so that is getting now available in FCB alpha. That is being taken into, updated into FCB alpha. It was available now here. Okay, and then we can able to read it, or we can able to write it, and we can able to invoke the command called as read/write command, or else we call as IOCS, input output control systems underscore read/write. So that's what I told you, right? We can do either open, or we can able to close, or we can able to read/write. So all these things are being done with this IOCS. Then we can name it as IOCS open, IOCS close, IOCS read and write. So this way it will go as the fifth block. What about sixth parameter? What it happens here? The process will invoke close operation It's going to invoke close operation with the corresponding ID. That's what is happening here. Sixth part. Seventh part, the file system will make a call. So the seventh part, the file system will make a call. What call it will make? It will make a call of this one, IOCS close. Based on that call, the IOCS part will get closed for the internal ID of alpha. So ID of alpha, all these are file names of the file what you created called as alpha. Now last one, what is happening in this part? Eighth step, what is happening here? This IOCS will obtain the information from the directory. Which directory? Directory U. And what file name? File name alpha. It will obtain the information, and that will make again a copy of that inside this FCS FCB alpha block, and it will update that FMT block. Okay, and it will update that inside the FCB alpha block, and this is how the process will get completed. So finally, what to understand here, these 8 entities are being controlled by 3 systems. What are the 3 systems we have? Input output control system open, this one entity. Input output control system close, the second entity what we have, and third entity IOCS, either we want to read or we want to write. So these 3 blocks are going to control the operation of this processing between input and output file. So this is your interface between file system and IOCS. What all things you need to know here, interface between IOCS and file system? 3 things you need to know. The first thing is you should know about these blocks, what all these blocks and what is happening here. And second thing you should know is what all these fields inside this block. Second thing you should know. And third thing you need to know here is how this block is going to interface between. So this one is, you see here, interface between file system and IOCS. So see this one, this is your file system. First one, file system. Let us say Roman number 1 is file system. IOCS is, let us say, Roman number 2. Roman number 2. So this one is second block. This one is first block. And this can be called as a process. Okay. And this is your directory. And this is your control block, OFT. So how this is being interfaced for opening and for reading and for closing. Opening and for reading and for closing. Even same block can be used for reading or for writing, anyone. Okay. So this was the interface between file system and IOCS. So next is we're going to see implementing file access and allocation of disk space. So we'll see that in the next upcoming class. Okay. So any doubts so far in this? Any clarity if you want? For this one, regarding if you want to understand, you need to read the textbook chapter number 13.8. So if you want to read this one, 13.8 you need to read, and page number is 503. You need to read this. Okay. That's it from my side today. So any doubts do you have or any clarifications you can discuss? Anyone, any doubts in so far? Is it clear? Okay, in the next class we're going to see allocation of disk space. In the next class we'll do these topics, allocation of disk space. So this one will start in the next class. How do we allocate the memory to the disk space? So this one we're going to see. So that is your topic which you have to refer, allocation of disk space. You need to refer from 13.7. So this topic we're going to see in the next class. So next class probably on 6th, right? So 6/7/21 we are going to discuss this. Okay. So that's it for today. Any doubts or any queries you can please ask me. If not, we can make a move. So let us discuss much more clearly in the next class. Anyone have any doubts? Any clarifications? You're open to discuss. Okay, if not, thank you. Let us see in the next class. We can make a move. And I'm going to finalize your marks related to first and second IA assignments. Okay, first IA assignments I'm particular about this week. So today or tomorrow I'll finalize that marks. If you have entered already, let us check here. I'll just show you once. If you are here, just quickly you can see for those students who have not submitted. Just a minute. Yeah, let us see here assignment section. Just a minute, I'll just want to show you about the assignments of yeah, what I am trying to say you is, so if you see the load previous thing, I don't want to see the previous thing again. See this one, this quiz. So what I'll do is today evening, up to today evening, I'll be waiting. Okay, this deadline is being over at May 20, right? It's been still pending. 17 people has to return. So if they're not going to return or they're not going to attempt it, I'm going to just mark it as absent or mark it as 0. All right. So let us say these people have not turned in or not viewed. Rahul, Pavan, Hemant, all those people. Right. This is about the Q entity. And some example I like to show assignment 1. So due date is June 1. So June 1 has passed, cleared off. So now 21 to return Rahul, Baba Sheikh Malik, and Pavan, Hemant, Hruday, okay, Dhanush, Supreet, Kamal, Sharat, Vinayak, Madan, Harshavardhan. Okay, they have viewed it, but they're not submitted it still. These many people, right? So rest all people, I have returned them and I have given the marks to them, right? So if you are not returning now, as of now, I'll mark it as 0 and I'll return to you. Right, I'm going to just mark it 0 and I'm returning it. So tell me by when can you submit it. So if you are not able to do that, it will be marked like this. So as early as possible by today or tomorrow, you try to complete for module 1 and 2. Okay, so that's it. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.